Hello, hello, all you friendly people out there. I'm Duuz-Diz-Din coming at you with another My Little Pony episode review. This time it's MLP Friendship is Magic Season 9, Episode 3, titled Uprooted. We start off this episode seeing Silver Stream. Um, flying in the skies with Rainbow Dash, having a good time, seeing, Rainbow Dash in her, Wonderbolts outfit and all that good stuff. We come to find out that this apparently was a tryout for the Wonderbolts of all things. And, Silverstream becomes the first non-pony member of the Wonderbolts, which seems a little odd, especially when Rainbow Dash says that, they're starting, immediately. They have a competition or a, performance coming up and they need to go now, which Silverstream is completely not ready for. You know, she's completely not ready for this situation, and it's very odd at first. It kind of takes you off guard, and then suddenly you have Oculus come in, saying it's graduation day and she, hasn't been studying for this entire semester and all that. And it's just like you immediately start to catch on that these are all bad dreams, like Yona falling from the sky only to land safely. Smolder having a little bit of a tea party, basically, only to just, be embarrassed when she noticed that everyone else is just around to see her. And, you have the moment where, Gallus is being, trapped and confined and all that good stuff. I think he has claustrophobia, I'm not quite sure. And then we find out Sandbar's big thing is he's not good at choices. He doesn't want to choose, which is such a minor situation. But it's just like, yeah, that seems very Sandbar. He's a little too nice to the point where he feels he'll be letting down the other cupcakes if he chooses just one. But then they actually find the crux of things, the illusionary image of Twilight, which is in truth the representation of the Tree of Harmony, tells the students that they are in need. They need to come to the Tree of Harmony and help out with something specific. It's kind of a bit of an emergency for the most part. What they don't know is that I have fooled them all. And so everyone wakes up back in their homes, because this is during the summer break, so everyone's, back home, and they've all simultaneously had this same dream, and realized that it wasn't, it's a message from the Tree of Harmony. So naturally, they go racing over, where Twilight is getting things set up for the new school year, and so the students come busting in and inform Twilight that they need to see the Tree of Harmony. They got a call to come and attend to it, but Twilight is unfortunately the bearer of bad news, as previously we saw that King Sombra, destroyed the Tree of Harmony. He, just went and wrecked it in order to keep Twilight and her friends from having the power to defeat him. But, as you saw in last episode, they were able to channel it because Twilight had the power within her all along. Which sounds a little cliche, but it's just like, yeah, she did have the power in her all the time. She's very powerful. The only downside to Twilight is just the fact that she underestimates herself so much. So they're informed the Tree of Harmony is gone, but they still want to go and see the damage, just because they have this bond with the Tree of Harmony, as, they're the new inheritors of, once Twilight and her friends assume the role of ruling over Equestria, it's very apparent that student six here, the young six, will end up taking over in terms of, being the guardians of harmony and all that good stuff, in terms of, the world and all that good stuff. And, this is something that I felt was kind of being led up to after a certain point. I doubt this was the plan for the most part, but I kind of felt like we were going in this way with it, when it was like announced that eventually Twilight will ascend to the throne of Equestria, so you'll need new guardians of harmony and all that good stuff. It'll be interesting to see how we go about this towards the end. But, actually seeing the devastation of the Tree of Harmony and the loss of the elements and all that, they are kind of down in the dumps about the whole situation. Although Silverstream states that, hey, it's still here. Technically, we should build a memorial to it. Just because it's gone doesn't mean it should be forgotten. So let's do something to honor it and possibly even try to bring it back in some way, shape, or form by using our bond of friendship, which ultimately doesn't work. So they just go with the whole memorial thing. Although, you have Thorax come in because Oculus didn't, tell anyone where she was going, which you could see that being a bit of a problem. A young child just up and disappears. It's just like, what the heck? So ultimately it's decided that, after the kids kind of try their best to convince Thorax, like, hey, this is really important to us, and our friendship and all that, our good relations, because that's really what the whole school is really about. Good relations amongst, the world and all that, to spread the message of together and unity and all blah, blah, blah. Which, is something we can actually use in our world to a certain degree, but it's ultimately approved by Thorax to have and decided by Twilight that permission slip should be signed to, just because they don't want these kids just running around unsupervised, at least not with no one knowing where they are or what they're doing. So, they get some permission slips ready because apparently Gallius was ready for this scenario. So, they get their permission in these various interesting ways. It's honestly not very important how they got these approvals, but it's nice to see the various cultures and ways how they had to go about it, with Smolder needing to arm wrestle to get the approval. Yona does various chores around the house in order to get in, I guess, her mother's good graces in order to be allowed to go. Gallus is immediately allowed to go because it's just like, yeah, whatever, get out of here, kid. And Oculus, because, the changelings aren't a bunch of assholes, they're just gonna let them go. It's just like, yeah, you're fine. You've helped out a lot. And even with Silverstream, she just explains the situation in her family. It's just like, yeah, sure, go ahead, why not? There's literally no reason for us not to sign this. So they end up going back to the cave for the Tree of Harmony, only to find out Sandbar, who lives nearby, had actually just cleared out all the pieces of the Tree of Harmony, and he had planted like a miniature sapling. And it's just like, what the heck, dude? It's like, yeah, your heart's in the right place, but dude, what the hell? And they're just like, yeah, we want to do a little bit more for the Tree of Harmony rather than just a minor kind of gesture. So it's ultimately shown that they can't really decide on what they should do to honor the Tree of Harmony. And, they end up asking Yona what her opinion is because she's not really saying anything, and she thinks that they should do something together, come up with a plan together, combine their efforts, with ultimately none of them really seeing eye to eye. So they all end up doing their own thing. Sandbar continues on with his little sapling. Gallus creates this kind of myth behind it, giving lies to how it was created and all that to create kind of a museum. Smolder wants to create a monument to it, as grand display, but we have a little bit of a moment where she's like, I don't really remember what it looks like now at this point, which is just like, yeah, it's because you guys aren't really acting like you're not really acting like in harmony. Basically, it's just like, yo, what the heck. Um, Silverstream is creating, I think she called it impressionist art, very abstract stuff going on here. Whereas Oculus is creating a bit of a like a meditation area so they can, think and remember the Tree of Harmony for what it was and all that good stuff. And ultimately, everyone ends up kind of clashing after a certain point, specifically Gallus and Smolder, with Gallus not wanting, Smolder's monument going in the cave, and they drop it, and it creates all this havoc just rolling through the cave and stuff. And they just start blaming each other and just arguing and yelling until Yona just has completely enough of this. She's just like, yo, stop, enough, stop this, no more. And she's just like, yo, the Tree of Harmony was a lot about, the fact that it brought us all together. That's what matters. It was, we should be remembering, we shouldn't really be remembering it, we should be embracing what it was, what it stood for, what it still stands for, and that's the bond between all of us. And they reminisce about the fact that above here is the castle of the two sisters, where they had all come together in order to try to be together, and that's what bonded them to the Tree of Harmony for the most part. Their love for each other, their want to be together, their friendship, their passion for each other. And Yona, having found that Sandbar didn't really take the pieces too far because ultimately they were heavy. And, they ultimately decide that they should build something out of the remaining pieces, kind of like a clubhouse for the most part, for them all. So it's ultimately decided that they'll come together, construct something to symbolize their friendship and the harmony of the Tree of Harmony for the most part. And so they create some plans and start constructing, reassembling what's left of the elements, although the elements don't show much power or anything like that. And they create kind of this ramshackled concoction that, it's not the greatest looking, but ultimately it's kind of mushed together kind of like they are. Different pieces that don't seem like they should go together, but ultimately they work out pretty well. So they kind of have fun just hanging out on this, kind of mushed together weird concoction for the most part. But suddenly it starts to glow with magic and starts to grow and sprout, showing that the Tree of Harmony still has power within it. And it's kind of like a fuck you to their construction, but it starts to grow up into the castle of the two sisters and blooms a true treehouse of harmony, I guess you could call it. And the spirit of the Tree of Harmony, still taking on the form of Twilight, says that their friendship, because friendship is magic, motherfucker, is because of the power of their friendship. The Tree of Harmony was able to come back to life more or less in a new form, taking on this new way because, for future generations to come together when they want to be together. That unity, that togetherness, that want to just be friends, that bond of friendship that creates magical things. And Twilight, having sensed the magical disturbance so close by, pops in and it's just like, yo, what's happening? And they explain what happened and all that good stuff, hoping to have gotten some answers from Twilight after the fact. And she just, she says basically what I said, the fact that their bond was able to bring about, a change in the Tree of Harmony out of necessity for a new kind of generation of harmony for future generations and all that. Twilight for the most pretty much gets it. It's just like, this is a new form for a new generation, and even goes on about the fact that when Star Swirl the Bearded planted the seed of harmony, he didn't know what it would truly grow into being. And so we got the Tree of Harmony after a certain point with the elements and all that as a way of empowering Twilight and her friends. And because the Young Six will someday be the new guardians of harmony for the most part, it's taken this form as a basis as to what they needed. So, and she even goes on to say that the elements of harmony have probably taken on a new form, and we'll see that probably later down the line, showing that, towards the conclusion of things, the Young Six will probably have a major kind of role to play for the most part. So it'll be interesting to see, and it'll pay off their involvement in everything. And, go out and buy the new Treehouse of Harmony playset brought to you by Hasbro and all that. And so, everyone just kind of comes together happy with the fact that they were able to, actually reinvigorate the Tree of Harmony in a way, shape, or form. And then everyone goes in to just kind of explore their new playset for the most part. I don't look down on companies when they're just like, hey, let's create this new thing, because I'm not harsh on this kind of situation. I'm always cool with it because it's just like a new place, a change in scenery, it's development, it's growth. It shows that things change, nothing remains the same. If everything just kept staying the same, we'd get complaints about stagnation like the series has got before. So it's just like, you either don't change and you end up just kind of, you stay the same and then people complain, and you change things and people think you're just pandering or you're changing things that don't need to be changed. And it's just like, well, things in life don't remain the same. Things change, things get different, new generations come into play, and they change and develop things. So a very nice little thing. Don't dwell on the past, look forward to the future and all that good stuff. So I enjoyed this episode for the most part, but tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. How did you feel about this episode? Do you enjoy spending some time with the Young Six? Honestly, I didn't much care for the song, but what it created, what it led up into, is a very nice design for the most part. I love the crystal leaves and all that good stuff, and I like the fact that their bond with the Tree of Harmony isn't just some throwaway thing. It's this ever developing, evolving, and growing thing. And the Tree of Harmony, it's weird that the Tree of Harmony didn't really seem to take this kind of a interest in the main six as it does the Young Six, but it's whatever. Again, tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. If you like this video, feel free to leave me a like. If you didn't, feel free to give me a dislike and tell me where I might have gone wrong so that I might better develop myself for future videos. And hey, how about subscribing and hitting the bell icon, because I'll definitely continue to bring you more My Little Pony Friendship is Magic reviews until the very end. But until then, hey, how about following me on social media platforms all over the place? I'm on everything, just Google Duuz-Diz-Din. And until then, hey, just remember, stay in harmony and always be good to your friends. Bye-bye.